What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars of the Stars, episode 106. Today is going to be an Ahsoka episode 5 review. Sorry if I was kind of quick with the intro. I messed up and I did the intro without starting the live stream. In short, Alex and I watched the episode last night. Actually, first time I think we've done it. We never do that because we just never works.
Yeah.
Do we just want to get right into it?
Let's just get into it.
Alex, you go first.
I don't even know where to start with this episode. Maybe the horror that I just got reminded of on Instagram of Ahsoka without her Leku decorations on. Never again.
Right.
But sorry, had to start with that. Had to get that out of the way. Never want to see that again. I mean, where do we want to start? The Clone Wars flashbacks, the duel.
So
Jason, where are we starting?
I mean, I feel like I just want to start with just Anakin in general, I guess, because that's the big thing with this episode. So to me, Alex, I was thinking about this, right? I really think this is it's like arguably Hayden's best performance as Anakin. I think, in my opinion.
He channeled the perfect in between of Revenge of the Sith Anakin and the Clone Wars Anakin, and he blended them so perfectly. I was so amazed with his performance. It was crazy.
I just think everything about this screamed what should have been Kenobi. That's a whole different conversation, right?
Sure,
and I don't want to, I just want to discuss how great this was. It was cool. Because I think this episode also has some really interesting development for the character of Anakin Skywalker, whether that be that this was just a figment of Ahsoka's imagination or this was actually Anakin in the world between worlds.
Yeah.
It presents the idea that Anakin has come to accept who he was, what he did.
Yeah.
And almost in a weird way, embrace what happened as a teaching moment, as a lesson.
Yeah.
It was just so interesting to me. I had texted you earlier in the week. I had said, because I had heard this, this episode changes Anakin forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wrong. And I think this might have been something else that was cut, and we'll discuss that probably too. But Anakin was going to be a Mortis god.
Yeah.
Which I still think is possible.
Sure, yeah.
I still think that's very possible. I think there's some signs that point to that. But yeah, I think just from that standpoint, Anakin's always, you guys know Anakin's always been my favorite character in Star Wars. And just to see him, Hayden in the Clone Wars armor, him on Mandalore.
Because it's what's crazy is I feel like it was always out there that we knew he was going to be here for the show. Even without rumors or leaks, you just got to think. So it was essentially confirmed during this episode that Kenobi and Ahsoka were filmed during the same time. You could just kind of tell by everything. Also, interviews and all that. I won't say they were going on at the same time. They were going on in the rough same time period. Enough time that Hayden could still be on both, or could be filming for both shows, and the Vader suit was still together. So, and they still had clone armor laying around. So this wasn't something where they were like, "Oh no, sorry, we actually have to go through tons of buckets to go find all this armor that we have stored away from, or we have to call in more fans." You could just kind of feel that these were filmed in close proximity of time. But man, I mean, I kind of felt this way when going through the Kenobi press junket tour with Hayden and Ewan. It always kind of felt like Hayden felt happy to be back. But now, man, I wish this is the one thing that I hate about the strikes is I would just love to know what Hayden thought about filming all that.
Right. So, yeah, because it's so, to me, it's just crazy how, because he embodied, like you were saying, the perfect blend of snarky Clone Wars Anakin banter and also the the fallen knight, I would say, Anakin at this
Mm,
point in Revenge of the Sith. Which, by
yeah.
the way, and I you've probably seen it on TikTok. Like briefly see Nightfall Anakin, as we call it, in Revenge
Mm,
of the Sith.
yeah.
Dude, if that dude was Vader, the
It would have
galaxy,
been over, bro.
bro, it is over. Nightfall
Yeah.
Anakin is
Mm.
terrifying.
And it's also, dude, like,
My favorite thing is I don't want to interrupt. He did
oh, you're good.
like the little shoulder shrug. He does a little
Yeah.
shoulder shrug when he comes in. I'm like,
Mm,
oh shit, here he
yeah.
comes.
It, it was just so. It was, it was crazy when we saw the Anakin and Obi-Wan flashback in the Kenobi series where it's them sparring. But then
Yes.
seeing like Revenge of the Sith, Anakin again pulling out the spins and all that, dude. And you see it's like it's Anakin, it's Hayden fighting as if he's still in the prequel era, but it's Ahsoka fighting as if she's in like that Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader original trilogy era.
Right.
So it's like, dude, it was such the duel between them was so phenomenal. And what also was good to confirm was that the reason how Ahsoka got to the world between worlds was not because there's a portal in Cetos, but because she was dying. She was in the
Yes.
midst of almost being dead from drowning. Which, could you imagine if that's how our beloved Ahsoka dies, is drowning?
That would be terrible.
But
Okay.
yeah, crazy.
I do want to get into this because this is something we discussed immediately and we're saying during the episode. What was the lesson?
So I think I've heard some people give their input on it, and I think what I'm going with is that Ahsoka, it needs to live on without fear. So because basically we see it multiple times in Ahsoka's visions with Anakin. She constantly sees him turning into Darth Vader because she knows his fate. We don't know if this Anakin knows what happened. We don't know this version of Anakin. This could be an imagination of Anakin, or whatever. I think the fear is that Ahsoka needs to stop holding on to what happened to Anakin as her fault, and that it's destined to happen to her.
Right.
Because you talked about something being cut earlier. We do know that the original World Between Worlds scene was going to be Anakin versus Ahsoka on Mustafar, kind of in a what if Ahsoka was sent instead of Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it was cut. It was cut last minute. They filmed the flashbacks instead to the Clone Wars, which, in my opinion, kind of looking back, I kind of wanted more now. But I think that's the lesson. Is I think it's Ahsoka kind of being told that, hey, it's okay to be attached to people without being afraid of falling to the dark side or having somebody else fall to the dark side. And I think a lot of people also use that for good justification as to Ahsoka's kind of stoic nature now, where she's just kind of like the stone cold, like jaded human.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after her interaction with Anakin in the World Between Worlds, she is full of light. She's Ahsoka the White now. She is full of like humor. She's like, I don't know where it's gonna take us, but going somewhere is better than going nowhere. It's like it feels like at that moment Rosario channeled her inner Ashley Eckstein to play the character.
Live or die, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of the theme Anakin repeatedly says. Ahsoka's immediate response in the first two scenarios is to not fight, to not confront it, to kind of hide in the shadows. I think there's that aspect of it too, because you got to think about it. In the original trilogy, where the fuck is she?
Yeah.
She hides in the shadows. It's time for her to come out and fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shadow warrior. As Anakin trains her to be a warrior, and while Anakin's teaching, like, she's obviously a warrior, she needs to be her own version, right? The shadow warrior, right? She can't be fighting. She can't exhibit the qualities that he had if she's hiding. I think that was the lesson. You either have to face your fear or hide it, right? Live or die, right? She didn't want to fight. Sorry, my sweet mates are back. She didn't want to fight Anakin, Vader, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Go
And
ahead.
dude,
I was distracted. Go ahead.
it was just so crazy. We got to see their first one of their first major battles together, and then one of their last. You sweet mates. There's something else. But like seeing the flashbacks to Ryloth, I am still shocked. I'm still speechless. The fact that I'm about to say, seeing Captain Rex in live action twice was something else. Seeing the
Yes.
Siege of Mandalore in live action, seeing Phase 2 Rex, seeing Ahsoka with the green lightsaber, acknowledging the weird continuity between the Clone Wars where she randomly has a green lightsaber and then randomly has blue lightsabers. It's just kind of wild to me that we are at this point where we saw one of their first missions together again. We saw Ryloth, we saw Anakin in Clone Wars armor in live action. I mean, this episode just, and not even to mention, this is all in the first 20 minutes. We
Alex,
haven't even gotten to like the back half of the episode.
How many times do you think I said, "Oh my god"?
So many times. Like again, it wasn't even the fact that it was Clone Wars flashbacks in live action. The thing that we've all wanted forever. It wasn't even that. It was what was in those flashbacks. Anakin with the Clone Wars hair, the armor, the Rex, the Ahsoka. Crazy.
I think this episode has the two greatest shots in Star Wars history. It's the one where his back, it's Anakin's back, and then he phases into Vader. And then it's the other one where he phases into Vader in the World Between Worlds. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And it looks visually stunning.
It was the fact that I literally even said when he was doing the walk from Ahsoka forward, I was like, bro, not the Vader walk. And then he flashed into Vader. Bro, I was crazy. I was crying inside. I was like, ain't no way. I will say, and I feel like this is more of just because we knew of what was supposed to be in the episode. I do kind of feel like the World Between Worlds aspects kind of let down with air quotes. I don't think it was a letdown because I think what we got was literally some of, if not the best content in Star Wars. But with what we were supposed to get, I feel like I would have liked to seen that a little more. I also kind of wish we would have seen Malachor because we were getting so many hints of them revisiting that.
I kind of like when I think about it. I kind of like what I got better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still like
from a narrative standpoint, I think it makes more sense.
Yeah,
because to me, like if you have the Mustafar thing, right? Then you get into like, and I think this is why Dave did it. You get into a finicky area, right? Because then it's like
timelines and all that. Yeah,
is this a timeline? Is this a what if? Because I think Dave is intending this as a dream. This is not the actual, which I kind of like. I like the idea. If you find a portal to the World Between Worlds, you can dream about it essentially. So it's so, and I really don't know. Do you think it was Anakin speaking to her through the cosmic force?
I think it was her imagining him. And then maybe I don't know. Because again, I think this episode confirms that the World Between Worlds it will look and be different depending on who accesses the portal or accesses the waypoint to it. Like when Ezra was in it, it was a black void with white lines as the roadways and portals.
We had the wolves, and then you had the wolves.
Yeah, we have the wolves. We had the Sith iconography, the Jedi iconography, kind of all things attached. And the voices that Ezra was hearing is all people relevant to him. He was hearing Obi-Wan and Yoda, of course, the two Jedi Masters, apart from his own, that like touched him the most, gave him his biggest lessons. Hearing people like Jyn Erso, people of the rebellion facing up. Hearing Kylo Ren, hearing somebody who fell to the dark side. Hearing Rey, somebody who resists the dark side. Like all people who are just like apparently connected to him. He heard the father, the daughter, and the son all people who were connected because Ahsoka is connected to, because of
Mm-hmm.
this connection that he would make with Ahsoka. And in Ahsoka, when we see it, it's her vision is hazy, it's blue, there's no voices. But she sees Anakin, the person who had the biggest impact on her life.
Right.
And I think that is what is about it, is the world between worlds will be shifted based on why you're there. Ezra
I
needed
agree.
the lesson that he can't change what happened to Kanan. And this Ahsoka needed to get the lesson that she needs to stop holding on to her fear of her attachments.
Right. I agree with all that, Alex. My thing with it all is it just really so well executed to me. It's not even like a thing like if we got the Anakin Ahsoka Mustafar thing, cool, but really what lesson?
Yeah.
I mean, we still get the same point out of it from the Clone Wars flashbacks. And I love the Mandalore
Yeah.
one especially, right? Because Anakin's like,
Mhm.
I don't remember this battle. And then he's
Yeah.
proud of her in that moment. And
Yeah.
then but it's still Ahsoka like lashing on to like, what did you become? And he makes the snarky remark. He goes, oh, so that's what this is about. And
Yeah,
it's just so
I was about to say, bro literally was pulling out. So that's what this is about. You want to talk about that, huh? That's what I
yeah,
kind of like. I was kind of, this episode did a lot with referencing the past. It outright said Kanan Jarrus' name. I wish we kind of got like, I don't know. I kind of wish there was a little bit of a conversation of like, hey, you want to kind of like discuss when you were this big black like 7 foot like monster? Let's talk about that for a little bit before we're talking about the Clone Wars.
right. Um,
Also, by the way, the inside joke of that being like, this is the Clone Wars. And Anakin's like, no kidding.
that was so funny. Wait, I'm like, did she just say that? And then like, yeah, it's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. This is the Clone Wars.
Um, what was also I think like really cool is like, um, she says something along the lines of like, "I will not fight you," and he's like, "I've heard that one before." Like referencing his son.
I know.
Both his kids get referenced in this episode. I don't
Yeah.
like he's
The
across the
Leia
table's like
reference, yeah.
across the table's like Senator Organa's holding it up. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Like
I know.
Leia too.
Yeah.
Dave's like, hold on. Let me get a little Leia, let me get a little
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
But it's not
Dude.
like so overt that it's like, oh, this takes me out of the
Dude.
episode. Just little crumbs,
Dude. Dave brought this episode to George Lucas and he's like, how'd I do? And the book's literally, and the page is on fire. He's like, you did great. You did great.
This is so George Lucas, though.
Yes, this series is just entirely George Lucas. This literally just feels like George Lucas was like, hold on, let me cook one more time. I got one more bullet left in the chamber.
I got one more.
Dude, like this, like, and again, we were only
Imagine if
talking
this
about.
dude had a movie budget.
I know. Which, by the way, Anakin looked great in this. By the way,
He looked way better than he did in Kenobi.
Yeah, not only that, but like, just like he did look a little wonky in the episode 4. He looked a little weird, but this episode he looked literally perfect. I think this is the best de-aging in all of Hollywood. I think this was perfect. I don't think there was like at all a single moment I was like, ugh.
I was taken aback, I think, just a little bit by like when he's talking with Ahsoka, like the first time. I feel like he fits much like he can pull off the Revenge of the Sith look now much better than the early Clone Wars.
yeah.
I'm still like, you because like in Attack of the Clones, I'm like, it looks like a 40-year-old playing a 20-year-old, but like,
Yeah.
but in the Revenge look, I think he pulls off a little bit better.
I think he still just looks so good. I think even like de-aged or not de-aged, I think he looks pretty good in it still.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing. I just think it still looks.
But what's crazy to me is Hayden being so open to being like fully on board with coming back to Star Wars. Bro, what does this mean we could get?
I think he's going to turn up here and there. I don't think anything major.
Do you think we see Anakin in the Rey movie as a Force ghost?
I would hope so because I think the way they're going to go with it is they're not going to be called Jedi. They're going to be called Skywalkers, which is what I hope.
Yeah.
And kind of Anakin is the
Mm,
principle of that, kind of like the
yeah.
prime Jedi almost of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would make sense.
I gotta
But no,
say
I
also, sorry to cut you off, but
you good.
I think this episode, I think this was a playground kind of episode, if that makes sense. I
Hmm.
think this was Dave experimenting with how will casuals react to something like the World Between Worlds, where he didn't go full World Between Worlds, where he's showing portals into different times, or he's not playing voices. But how would somebody like a casual fan, like set like our parents, our uncles, our aunts, our grandmas, our grandpas, how would they feel about something like that? And I think my early bold prediction for that Ray movie is I think we'll see the World Between Worlds there. Call me crazy.
I don't know. Um, I thought the lady, I don't know her name, who played young Ahsoka was great. I did not know she played young Gamora, and now
I
it
didn't
makes
either.
it makes a ton of sense. I thought she was fantastic, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I totally forgot. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, they literally put a child in war. I totally forgot that the Jedi did that. She was a
Mhm.
literal child in that.
Yeah, I mean
I thought she was great. I thought she was really
yeah,
good as a young Ahsoka.
it was good. I would guess if I were to nitpick, if I had to be that guy, she didn't fully give like she didn't blend the animated to live action as well as Hayden did. But regardless, I mean, she
You
still
didn't think? I thought she was great. I didn't think.
no. I still think she was great, but she didn't feel like Ashley Eckstein.
Right.
But again, like that was not at all something that took me out of the episode or bothered me in the slightest bit. I guess if I had to nitpick, so I'm not choosing to, but
Dude,
I the Ryloth stuff was great. I mean, again, I kind of said it, I think Anakin looked a little weird with the short hair. Um,
right, but that makes sense for.
it didn't look right. Okay, they should have just kept him with shaggy hair.
Then you would have people bitching
Yeah.
about continuity. I never had the
Okay,
one hair.
listen. This show literally gives zero shits about continuity. They completely changed the Rebels epilogue scene, and intentionally changed it too. By the
Oh,
way,
they straight up said it. Yeah, Dave.
yeah,
Didn't they like just straight up say it? They're like,
they said
yeah,
that he intentionally changed the Rebels epilogue.
because
I
she
don't
was
remember
Ahsoka the
why,
White
but
then.
no.
She was Ahsoka the White then. Um,
But like, yeah, I mean, again, we're only talking about the World Between Worlds stuff. There was then so much stuff that happened outside of the World Between Worlds,
yeah, let's.
and surprisingly, okay, I gotta say for that stuff, I know me and you were saying it while we were watching. It wasn't a lot of stuff of like, no, go back, go back, go back. We're not interested in this plot. It was interesting, to be fair.
I said it. I think it was better.
Better's a stretch, but it's
I think
good.
some of it was better.
Okay. I think Jason being as involved was a shocker.
I'm really enjoying it.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I remember I'm like, when you see the Rebels epilogue, I'm like, I hope I never see this green haired devil again.
I know. But now he's literally like one of the most important characters in the show.
But he's been great. I really loved how he sensed through the Force. Um, them fighting
Oh
was
my
so
god.
crazy.
And then the scene when he was like, "So who are you fighting?" What if, bro? I was literally imagining, what if Ahsoka was just like, "Oh, you know too much now." Like, that was crazy. It's also just, it's kind of weird. I wonder how sensitive he is to the Force. He seems super attuned for only being like 7 years old. So
Yeah, he was able. I mean, he was literally able to sense like Ahsoka fighting, which was in her dreams.
mm,
That's some telepathy there, right? Yeah,
and
he's
again,
got to be super power. Like I don't know, super powerful is the right word. Powerful for the time. Can I say that?
sure, yeah.
Because like to be fair, I want to be fair. I know he liked Kanan a lot. That dude's not the most powerful dude on the planet.
No, but that man did transcend into a low wolf, so
He did. He
who knows?
did.
Which, by the way, what an L that we didn't get to see that Loth Wolf while we were on Lothal. What an L.
Um,
Oh,
no,
wait, you spoiling
no,
something right now?
no comment.
No comment. Go ahead and type in the private chat if you don't mind. What?
I think I think you might know from what I'm suggesting.
I'll see it. I'll see it to be true.
Just a 4-letter word. Just a doom.
Doom. But you got to say it like the wolf. Doom.
Doom.
But no, let's also not forget, we are 5 episodes in, and the main bad guy has not been seen once.
The terrifying bad guy.
Yeah, that's how good of a villain Thrawn is, though. It's not even that himself. It's his presence alone is so dire that people are literally willing to let their friends be dead to make sure he doesn't come back.
Yeah. Dude, we didn't even see Shin.
No
Shin
Shin.
Baddie.
No Balin.
I mean, Shin Hottie, not Baddie. Balin, Sabine. By the way,
no Morgan.
we said it last night. Dave, we know what you're doing.
Also, yeah, bro.
Shots.
Dave, you could tell he was taking over from George Lucas. With some of those shots of Hera, you knew what you were doing, Dave Filoni. You knew what you were up to. He had that dog in him. He was trying to say, you're welcome.
She got that boonda.
I know.
Sorry.
But again, the Leia reference that happened, the Per-Gil stuff was so amazing. So beautiful shots, especially the ones when they're all coming from the planet.
Yes.
I guess I still do kind of wonder why they're all at Cetos, unless it's like the ultimate plot device where it's just like, oh, they were there for the Force.
Well, I mean, they basically say it's a through point to the other galaxy. It's a travel lane for them. It's like their migration route.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, where else? So we talked obviously about the Anakin stuff. Let's end that conversation, I guess, now. Where do you think we're going to see him again? How does he manifest? What's going on with that?
Hold on one second. Somebody's at my house. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You give your ideas.
Okay. So I think obviously we're going to get him again, but I think we'll actually get Anakin. I think we'll get some Force Ghost stuff. Probably at the end, with like a little head nod. I think we might actually get that conversation of like, everything, him as Vader, what's going on with Luke. But I think more so like she will hear his words through the cosmic force that will motivate her in whatever fight or whatever conflict she's going through. So I think there's 2 avenues that we see him again. As a Force Ghost, and then as I don't know what you call it, a Force voice through the cosmic force, kind of like we get in what the fuck is the last movie? Oh, Rise of Skywalker. That's bad. Wow, that's bad. And
which also I think Rey was also probably seeing the world between worlds in that movie, since she was at that moment of death, like Ahsoka was.
How do you think you unlock it? Is it just a thing?
I think it's so we know that Anakin learned how to become a Force Ghost through the world between worlds because Obi-Wan and Yoda were able to show him through the Version Scatter. So I think
is that legit it?
It's mostly confirmed that that's how it was. I believe it was in the it was in one of the A Certain Point of View books.
It's because wasn't the original answer that like Obi-Wan just kind of whispered it through the Force, like
yeah, it was literally like while he was dying, he was being told, "Hey, you gotta do this, then you gotta do that. Wait, also you gotta do this too." But no, I think regardless, even then, headcanon would be just the better option. That's how. I think it honestly is probably something that you can unlock through a portal, or you can unlock via the Verge of Death.
Yeah, I think the world between worlds is just. I think that's a good way to put it. The epicenter of the cosmic force.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally the in between of it all. So,
right.
I think that just makes the most sense. And granted, it is also, to be fair, it is also the biggest like plot armor of all time. Because then you could argue, well, why didn't Ki-Adi-Mundi get to go to the world between worlds? Because nobody wanted that.
And it's also like depends on the type of death. Like if you're Plo Koon,
yeah.
you're not going to the world, but you're dead.
Yeah, Dad, you didn't just have a thing where you were almost dying. You were just
Dead.
blown up.
You got blown up, then crashed. You were dead.
Mhm.
It was so interesting to me that like, and I just love it how it's almost like obviously the religious allegory of her being like rebaptized, coming out of the
Mm.
water, and then
Yeah.
oh my god, her balls.
Never, bro. Never. Never
I'm like,
again.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, wait, is that what she actually looks like?
She has 4 ear holes on each side.
It was
Gross.
disturbing. I feel like she should just go with that look now.
No, bro. Mm-mm-mm. Her hairline is also like all the way up here.
It's like, oh my god, she looked like she was 60 at that point.
Yes, all the wrinkles like up towards the center part where her head and the Leku connected.
It's like a thing where
Never.
it got. It's like a thing you still wear a headband just to like
Mhm.
hide your hairline. It's just like that's what she's
Exactly.
doing.
But no, literally though, like I don't know. This next episode, it's crazy. We're probably gonna see Thrawn as early as next week. Like they're not cucking us and being like, "Oh, you're only gonna get him in the last episode."
We're not
No.
gonna get Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. We're not gonna get Moff Gideon. We're not gonna get what's it called?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. We're not getting any of that shit. It's literally, hey, no, he's here next week. Like this shit is on Donkey Kong. It's ready to
Oh
go.
my god! Can you believe we're gonna go from how good episode 4 was to how good episode 5 is to Thrawn?
It's
That doesn't even
crazy.
sound real.
This series, if these last 3 episodes are literally anywhere near as good as episodes 1 through 3 were, this series will be a legit perfect series.
Dude, I feel like it's gonna be like as good as 4 and 5. 6, 7, and 8 will be as good as 4. Mind you, no promotional material left, minus the one shot of Thrawn.
Yep. So it's all brand new stuff, which by the way, thank the Lord to whoever at Disney is marketing it like that, because I'm so happy that they are not marketing stuff from like the last few episodes, because then it makes piecing together what happens really easy. So
Yeah, remember they didn't do that with Mando too. And look at how that turned out.
But yeah, it's also like, man, it's so weird to think that all
I'm
of this
looking
is
at a
happening.
picture right now. I don't mean to cut. I'm looking at a picture again at like them on Mandalore together. It's gonna be tough to see. Just like
I know it's perfect.
I just don't get. It's like his arm cross. Like he just does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like Matt Lantern. Like it's just the animated form,
Dude,
but also a little Hayden. It's just so well done.
And also, we didn't even talk about it when they first started dueling and Anakin started going in and out of the Vader voice.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude. But it did sound okay, to be fair. It did kind of sound like it was they put the Vader voice effect over Hayden's voice, so it didn't sound proper, but still, the effect itself was
Alex knows I lost it when he did the little spinny spin behind the back.
Dude, I literally was like, "Oh my god, here we go." Here we go.
Mind you, and I said this to Alex. I said this is the best. I think this is the best lightsaber fight that they've done in on Disney Plus.
Dude, I don't know. They have been smashing it with lightsaber
I think this
fights.
I just love prequel choreography.
Yeah.
And I just loved how he moved much. He was fluent.
I would honestly, one thing we should do soon is we should do a lightsaber battle tier list.
Okay.
Like, because I don't know. I honestly don't know, like, what to even think. I gotta say, all of the Kenobi fights were solid. Almost every single Mandalorian fight has been solid. All of the fights in Ahsoka have been solid. Like, there hasn't been as many. I think personally, if I'm gonna go all of Disney lightsaber fights, I think coming off the top of my head, like I think the Force Awakens fights were okay. I think the throne room duel fights, if it was kind of edited a little better, would be one of my top 5. I thought the Rise of Skywalker fights were okay, but they weren't anything that like blew me away. Like,
I think The Force
yeah,
Awakens honestly is my favorite out of the sequel trilogy. I
it
like the
just
last
yeah,
fight.
it just felt like that fight kind of just felt more unchoreographed, if that made sense, but
Hmm.
also super choreographed at the same time. The Last Jedi fight, I know a lot of fans feel like too much is going on and it's too hard to pay attention to what you're supposed to be looking at. And I just kind of feel like the Rise of Skywalker fight kind of just feels like they're just kind of uh, uh. But like the Moff Gideon Mando fight was great. Every fight in Ahsoka has been like good to like amazing. The Kenobi fights were great. Like it
I
was
just
amazing.
think like I like the way like I've always just like I just like the way Anakin fights. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
very like Hayden really embodies like the fluidity like a Jedi should have when he does the spin and shit,
Oh
when he
yeah.
does like the uh and I love how Ahsoka, like you were saying, like fights like she does now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not those quick, movements. It's also really funny when she's like, Anakin, you look the same, and he goes, you got old. It's just he had the perfect snarkiness and banter that like you would expect. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now we can go into the latter half of the episode. So Jason figures out where they are. Hugh Yane's kind of mourning. Hugh Yane mentions Kanan Jarrus, which was really cool. Um, Shout out to Kanan, getting a reference. You meet
Finally.
a lot. You meet a lot. Um, Not to this story, but you just meet a lot in general. You're a cool character. Um, we get Ahsoka the White. She puts on the white robes.
Mm-hmm.
We see the old man, old woman Tano with the white, forehead. Um, what did you think about Ahsoka the White? What did you think about that setup and what we're getting with Ahsoka the White? What did you think about that?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was again, it was a little weird to see that they changed the Rebels, format, but I didn't mind it. Or the Rebels epilogue. But now that
Hmm.
we are finally at Ahsoka the White, again, I said it earlier, it literally just feels like she is her Clone War self again.
Right.
Like it is Ashley Eckstein being played through Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
And I'm like beyond excited for that right now.
Right.
Like, I feel like this series, as a result of her now becoming Ahsoka the White,
Hmm.
is now literally just going to kick it into a higher gear.
Right.
Like, again, she went from being the stoic, oh, you have to be prepared for the worst, to being like, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
I guess we'll find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. But
Live or die,
live or
right?
die, yeah.
She's not afraid of death, essentially. She's ready to conquer the challenge ahead. Um,
Yeah.
she has the skills and tools now. I wish it was a little more, we talk about her going to the new galaxy and that type of thing. I wish it was a little bit more about that being her destiny. Because like I said, Dave's never going to kill her. And I feel like a good way to not kill her would just have her be the leader of whatever is out there. I'd be like,
Yeah.
cool. She's out there now. We know that. No, I really love the Ahsoka the White thing. Kind of this experienced, older leader who's upbeat and wise, not the stoic traditionalist. I just love how Anakin's like, because that lineage is so interesting to me, right? That master apprentice. Let's think about it. It's Ahsoka, it's Anakin, it's Obi-Wan, it's Qui-Gon, Dooku,
Dooku, Yoda,
Yoda.
and whoever trained Yoda.
That's six right there. That's an interesting dichotomy of characters, right? You have Yoda, who's obviously, I would say, the perfect embodiment of a Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dooku, um, the fallen student, the outcast, the outlier. Qui-Gon in that same manner, but the rebel who's willing to get things done for the greater good.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, kind of a traditionalist, kind of combats what Dooku and Qui-Gon represented. Stoic, calculated. Anakin, rebellious, similar to Qui-Gon. and Dooku. And I think Ahsoka kind of embodies both in points of her life, right?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
very, when she's young, rebellious, and reckless. And then as, she gets older, she's more stoic and now has become Ahsoka the White, really embodying those two roles as a leader, but also as a young, fruitful and idealist that wants to help and get things done. So I thought that was well done. We didn't even touch on Rex. Kind of touched on it.
Slightly did. Dude, Rex, 2023. Live action.
Commander, come on.
Dude, which also,
Temle's
again,
voice.
I said this to you after we were done. It was one of the last things we said to each other. Could you imagine going 10 years in the past to little 8-year-old us and saying, hey, this is going to happen in 10 years. You're going to see your childhood in real life. I don't know what I would have said to myself.
I wouldn't have believed it, dude. It just felt like such a fever. Like I kept saying, this is a fever dream. This is not real. Just seeing the Mandalorian Super Commandos look so good. And when she stabs through that one, I'm like, oh my god, that's literally 1 for 1. The clones with the 330 was it the 332nd is her company. Them with the orange, oh my god, it looks so good, amazing. I loved the grittiness too. It felt like a war. Sometimes in the Clone Wars, especially early Clone Wars, it was really bright aesthetically, and you never got the vibe that it was like a war because it was never dark and grittier. It gets later on, it gets better, but this felt like the Clone Wars. And I think what's going to be interesting is, does Lucasfilm listen to the fans? Because a lot of people right now are like, Clone Wars movie. I'm kind of in the camp of no, but I want to hear your thoughts on it because a lot of people are into this idea now, especially after seeing these 2 flashbacks.
Yeah, so I'm personally not all in for a Clone Wars movie. I kind of just feel like we got the Clone Wars, and I feel like that would kind of undermine the impact of the Clone Wars if you did a movie.
What story would you tell too? You've told every story.
At that point, what story is there to tell? Because we've kind of exhausted the Clone Wars, not in a bad way, but it's kind of like, that's kind of like fact of the matter is that Clone Wars went on from 2008 to 2020. With that 7-year gap in between. And I personally just don't feel like there's much left to tell. So
if anything, what would you tell with those 2 specifically?
I guess the only Clone Wars stuff we could tell is year 1 of the Clone Wars, because in the show we pick up at year 2 to 3. But
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was it's still year 1.
If we're in year 1, we're at the tail end of year 1.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I assumed it's a few months after Geonosis.
Oh no. We're a little past a few months, but
we're a year past Geonosis?
Probably closer to 9 or 10 months past Geonosis.
Really?
Yes.
So then it would have worked anyways.
Yeah, so even then, what other stories do you tell? Because I don't know any other that come to mind.
I mean, what? You're going to have Ahsoka fight Dooku or something? What?
Yeah, it's at this point, we have to remember, we need to spare our love for the Clone Wars very sparingly, and not in a bad way, but if you oversaturate yourself, you're not going to like it as much.
Right.
That's why, for instance, for me, I can't watch the same show or movie so many times again and again and again and again without wanting to not watch it anymore, because I've oversaturated myself. That's why I said it so many times. I was so tired of seeing Ahsoka. Not because I hate Ahsoka or something. It's because I've seen her so much
Mm-hmm.
in everything.
Yep.
And so that's why I think like when people say that we need a movie for this, I disagree. I don't see what other stories there are to tell.
Right.
Unless you got one that comes to mind.
I mean, I don't. I really don't. Um, um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's all like really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, to go into the latter half of the episode, I guess I thought that was just really well done. Just Ahsoka coming into her own, but also the stuff with the Purgil. Um, her like communicating with the Purgil.
Mm,
They just look so good.
yeah.
I
So
thought they
good.
looked,
Such a great translation from animation to live action.
they had the little music when they come in. That by the way, the Kiner
Mm,
brothers, psh, my guy's killing it in live action.
again, bro is
Think that
pulling the George or the John Williams, and literally every note he hits is just setting the room on fire.
um, they've been fantastic. So now the Purgil presumably are going to this other galaxy. And yeah, I do we got what do we think's up? What do we think's gonna happen next week? Because next week's a big episode.
Thrawn, but that's about all I can think. Like I got literally nothing else to think about what could be happening.
I was surprised they didn't tease him at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I was really
Um,
thinking we would have gotten like a post credit scene or something.
yeah, I think we definitely get Thrawn. I think right away we establish he's a badass. I think one of them gets killed. I think Morgan Elsbeth is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think he's gonna be like, thank you, bye bye.
Yeah.
I think we see Ezra.
Yeah, I think maybe as a stinger or a
No, no,
oh, just fully fledged in. Okay.
no. You're gonna see Ezra pretty quick.
Oh,
Yeah, you can see Ezra pretty quick.
okay.
My thing is, I know this is just a world type of discussion. Where's Luke?
Look, that is going to be forever the problem that I have with this point of Star Wars. Forever.
This is a Luke time. This is a big Luke time.
Yeah, it's going to be like this forever. Until we get a definitive thing of like what this guy is doing that is so important that he cannot be present for this, I will not buy it. It's going to be a problem that is going to be faced. The MCU is facing it every single time with Doctor Strange. The problem is you cannot introduce a kind of power creep like the series or what the MCU is doing. If you introduce a kind of power creep like that, you're dooming yourself because people are going to start asking that question every single time of where's this person at? Where's that person at?
Right.
And again, I understand that he's away. He's building the Jedi Temple, and I get that. But come on now. We can only build that as an excuse for so long.
Yeah, like he can take a break.
Literally, like you're telling me this man cannot multitask?
Right.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? That Luke Skywalker, his two things that he sucks at more than anything: multitasking and allowing somebody to fall to the dark side. Is that what we're trying to establish here? Because I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't buy it either. It's just also like a thing like it's a big Jedi problem. It's a big Jedi problem.
Yeah. He is not just a Jedi, by the way. He is the Jedi at the time.
Jedi. It's kind of like a thing. Like Ahsoka's a part of the New Republic. So does that mean like Luke should be right? His sister is kind of a senator at this point.
You would think.
Where is the general, by the way, like the head general probably of the New Republic too? Where is Han Solo?
Where's Leia? Where's Chewie? Where's
Like
Lando?
the leaders, what should be the leaders of the New? By the way, the dumbest government on the planet, like quite literally.
Straight up, probably in the top 10 stupidest people of all time.
They're like, let's arrest Hera.
Let's arrest Hera. She had this general who has had an ungodly track record, resume
from the time she was like a child.
Let's arrest her instead of using our logic, being like, okay, hey, listen, she fought this blue bastard before. Why don't we stop? Wait a minute and think.
And then, hey, let's not believe Carson Deva, and let's be like, yeah, we're going down. Like what?
Also, by the way, that had me reminded. That scene, by the way, he's like, all right, you're not gonna believe me. He cuts back. So, and she's gonna use the space whales to find them. Dude, I was literally like, bro, that is the most meta joke of all time.
Space whales. No. I don't got much more to say, I think.
I don't either, because this episode is like, again, it's literally a Clone Wars and Rebels fan dream.
It's a wet dream. It's a wet dream.
It's the wettest dream. It's a leaky dream. Like, you wake up and you don't even feel that something's happened. You just touch down there and you're like, oh, whoa, it was a good dream I had. Like, that is what this episode was. It was the best dream of all time.
Ooh, it's so wet.
Oh, it's so. And you touching, oh, it's so sticky. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, I rarely do this. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for 11 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It's perfect. It's the first time also that, again, something like this, it was whenever like Rebels and Clone Wars had a big problem with this. Wherever good stuff would start happening, they'd cut away. And you'd be like, no, go back. This was literally one of the only rare times that a series has been like, no, I don't care where you cut. It's all interesting.
Right, because I remember at the beginning of the episode, I was like, God damn it, do not care about Hera and fucking Jason right now. And then I'm like, oh shit, this stuff with Jason, kind of interesting, man. Stay here. Kind of interesting. I love it also that Ahsoka was able to sense where Sabine went just by remembering, by picking up the map.
Now, that's also a kind of a problem I have. Why is everybody getting that force ability all of a sudden?
Doesn't Cal have it?
Cal has it. Rey has it. Like, everybody's got it. Quinlan Voss has it. It ain't right, okay? It ain't right. I don't approve.
She's Ahsoka the White now.
Ahsoka, the freaking...
Do you think she turns in her lightsabers? Because she kind of has the staff in Rebels. Do you think she's done with the lightsaber and just uses the staff?
No. Although, I don't know how would you feel if she changed her lightsaber colors?
What would she change them to?
Blue? Green? Yellow? Who knows?
I like the white.
Gray. I do too, but...
Is it gray? What is it, white?
White.
Yeah, I think it suits her. By the way, the white outfit, way better than the gray outfit. Way better.
So good.
Just don't take your headpiece
off.
Just don't,
bro. Just don't take it off again.
Thrawn next week. Ezra next week. It's going to be a fun episode. It's going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Who is directing? Do we know who is directing?
Oh, they look that up for me? I did.
Can you look this up for me? Is it? I know Family U is doing the finale, I believe.
Hold on. Yes, I do
Steph
know it's Family who's
doing the
hold on.
finale. Is it Steph Green?
Which literally his episodes are always so good.
His episodes are good. Bill Burr episodes. That's how I remember it. Is it Steph Green? Is it Ramsey?
Remember, hold on, I'm trying to find it. I don't care. Hold on. Episodes. Oh my god, hold on. I could have sworn they literally. Hold on, there we go. Is this it? No, I don't. I know who Ezra Bridger is.
Can you not find it? 1 second. Go to. It should be on Wikipedia.
Oh, hold on. There we go. I found it. Episode 6.
Jennifer
Getzinger. Jennifer Getzinger.
What is this person directed?
I got no fucking clue.
The Sopranos. Okay. She was a script supervisor for The Sopranos to come back. What did she direct?
A little kiss, some girls. I don't know, man.
Daredevil.
Yeah. That's a pretty big one.
Agent Carter. How to Get Away with Murder. Jessica Jones. Oh, she's pretty good then.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what she cooked. Alrighty. That's gonna do it, I think. Unless you got anything else you're gonna say. You gotta go to the gym. I know that. I gotta do some stuff. So yeah. As always, guys, thank you for watching episode. I don't know what we're gonna do when we don't have shows and we can only go for an hour. We're gonna have to figure this out, but we'll be okay. Loki comes out in a month here. Less than a month.
That he does. So does Gen V.
Gen V. I have to finish The Boys. Will I finish The Boys before then? Question mark?
You better hurry because
I don't know if I'm gonna. Is it gonna be good? What do you think? Does it look okay?
I think it looks great. I'm personally excited.
Okay, I heard the Deep's gonna be in it. By the way, fuck the Deep. Nobody likes him. He's literally the worst superhero on the planet.
Just wait. You haven't even seen it all.
He's the worst. Like literally, not even just from a superhero standpoint, but he's just the worst superhero. The fuck does he? He just dives deep into the ocean.
Oh, just you wait.
And then if I see him fuck Shamu, I'm gonna leave. It's the only problem I have with the show is just the shit. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, you lost me. Like the interesting stuff, I'm really interested in like Huey's story, like Butcher. Like
I'm telling you just gotta wait.
I know. I don't need to see like when they go into the place where all the superheroes hang out and they're just like, screwing on the ceiling. I'm like, yeah, what? Like, cool. I get it. And then hit A-Train's like girlfriend who took Compound V, who literally is getting eaten out, and she like squishes the dude's head, and it's like that's disgusting. That's gross.
It was amazing though.
I just love how season 1's premise literally is based off the fact that A-Train ran through a person. Ran through a person. By the way, Homelander, best villain in the television. Anthony Starr is just so good as like a dickhead. He's just so good as a passively aggressive dickhead. Okay, that's gonna do it. Everybody, may the force be with you. May you stay burdened with glorious purpose. Peace out, everyone.